In one of his first executive orders, President Donald Trump banned diversity, equity, and inclusion across the government, which has led to an almost comic, book villain level of repression across federal agencies. Now, that said, it has also harmed Donald Trump's own voters. So here we go. Here come the leopards. All right. Now, for example, in Clarksburg, West Virginia, where you have lead pipes that have caused elevated levels of lead in some of the children's blood, okay, which is not good. Not good to have elevated lead levels, okay? Now, in 2023, the Environmental Justice Division, we're already running into that problem, right? Environmental justice, we're going to have to get rid of that. And that's exactly what Trump is doing. The division of the that division of the EPA introduced a new program designed to increase lead testing for local children and families so that officials could catch elevated lead levels early and prevent long-term health complications. So the EPA partnered with state agencies, okay, that are pretty cash strapped, to buy kits that could measure lead levels in children with just a simple finger stick. All right. They also gave out gift cards to incentivize testing and offer testing opportunities in offices where people could sign up for other various government benefits. Now, the $150,000 program raised testing rates in Harrison County, West Virginia, from about 8% to 41%. Okay, for children. Okay, this is something that benefits children. Okay, wow, that's a huge increase from 8% to 41%. That's according to Camilla McMillan Hout, Director of Women, Infant, and Children Nutrition in 6 West Virginia counties. Children with high levels of lead were then targeted for health interventions like dietary changes that would reduce their risk of long-term problems like developmental delays, increased aggression, and low academic achievement. Okay. Now, that said, thanks to Donald Trump's DEI purge, this program, the funding for this program, has essentially been frozen. Okay. And not just there, by the way. The proposed expansion of this same lead testing program to states like Ohio happens to be threatened as well. Now, an EPA staffer connected to the initiative was put on administrative leave in early February as part of the Trump administration's purge of federal government workers. That person told Time magazine that they were pulled into a meeting and basically was told that, hey, you got 15 minutes to get your crap and get out. Log off to your, log out of your work email, get your stuff, and go. An additional 167 members of the EPA's Office of Environmental Justice and External Civil Rights were put on administrative leave, according to the agency. Many after receiving emails that said that they were identified as spending more than half their time on environmental justice initiatives. Because, we can't do that. We are not allowed to do environmental justice. That sounds too woke. Ah, right. Look, here's the thing, though. Environmental justice is good for everyone. But apparently, these right-wingers, they hear that and they go, no! Left-wing radicalism. They're green news scams, Marxist NGOs. We got to get rid of them. When in reality, it's testing children for lead. Yeah. Now, as Time notes, many of the environmental justice programs targeted by the new administration staff cuts and funding freezes do not benefit minorities or left-leaning environmental groups. This is the irony, right? This is according to Adam Ortiz, who until January served as the EPA's regional administration for Region Number 3, which includes Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia. Often, they help poor white communities in conservative areas, places that overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. Yes, that is where the funding is disappearing.
Whoopsie.
Clarksburg, a beneficiary of the West Virginia lead testing program, is a former manufacturing hub that is 90% white and has a poverty rate of 23.2%, about double the national average. Harrison County, where it is located, voted for Trump by a margin of 40% in 2024. These are communities, according to Jacob Israel Hanna, CEO of the Coalfield Development Corporation, a nonprofit that does workforce development in 21 counties in the state, said that had the most people, that had the most hope in this administration and are now feeling the most suffering. Of course they are. Once again, the leopards eating your face. That's what they voted for. Well, I didn't think the leopard's going to eat my face. Okay. I voted to end the DEI because I thought it was black people. Turns out it's mostly white people. Interesting. Now, Coalfield Development had won nearly $700 million in federal funding for projects across the state. Over half of its budget came from federal grants in the past few years from the Biden administration, as they had funneled unprecedented amounts of funding to Appalachia. Yeah, but nearly all that money has been frozen by federal spending pauses targeting DEI, environmental justice, and clean energy initiatives. Understand that these red states are the ones that Joe Biden actually helped the most. They're the ones that have been receiving more federal spending. And they turned around and they voted for Donald Trump. I mean, billions of dollars went to these red states to upgrade, to build infrastructure, okay? And again, these people, they voted for the guy who literally campaigned, tear it all down, and to stick the money in his own pocket. And you know what? The voters seem to be pretty cool with that because at least none of it went to those minorities. As the Time article notes, while some of the beneficiaries of environmental justice projects have been low-income communities of color in cities, others are struggling white communities in Appalachia. The Biden administration mandated that about 40% of many of its climate and clean energy funds flow to disadvantaged communities that are marginalized by underinvestment and overburdened by pollution. And of course, a lot of that actually happens to be rural white communities. Oops. They also set aside $500 million for Appalachian Community Capital to launch a green bank for rural America that would have prioritized investments in 582 counties across the region. The important thing to understand about all the grants that the EPA is at the EPA is that they prioritized reaching the communities most overburdened by pollution, says Zaylen Hoover, who was until recently the director of implementation at the agency, overseeing $100 billion in funding. Hoover says in every state, there's a wide range of communities receiving funding that includes Alaska Native communities, rural communities in the Southeast and Gulf Coast, and places across the country that have disproportionately high energy costs. Like maybe in Texas. But you know what? All of that is now on hold. But wait, there's more. Many of the programs whose funding was paused or whose federal staff were placed on administrative leave were focused on providing access to clean drinking water and functioning wastewater treatment plants. Remember, there's a lot of places, especially in the South, in the rural South, that don't even have clean wastewater, okay? Much less drinking water. So, I mean, way to shoot yourself in the foot there, okay? But I guess you're a rugged Merc and you don't need that anyway. Oh, clean water, clean wastewater. All right. Now, in Pennington Gap, Virginia, which is located in a county where 86% of voters supported Trump in 2024, the future of a grant to demolish an asbestos-filled grocery store issued through the EPA's Environmental Justice Collaborative Problem-Solving Cooperative Agreement Program is also now in question. Well, that's okay. I guess you could just go and sit in that asbestos-filled grocery store because it ain't getting demolished and it ain't getting replaced. Where's the free market on this one? Oh, right. They won't do it. They won't touch it. Of course not, because they don't touch anything that doesn't involve a profit. Okay? Whereas That leaves the government to do these very essential things that are paid for by taxpayer funding. But of course, can't have that. Can't do that. Of course not. Other federal funding to Appalachian Voices that has been frozen includes money to close up abandoned mines, support communities battered by flooding, and monitor air quality. So understand that these programs and this money is vital, and mostly, for the most part, went to poor white people in red states, Trump voters. So congratulations. If you voted for Trump, you played yourself. No wonder he likes the poorly educated. Y'all were too busy hating DEI without realizing that you are the beneficiaries of the most DEI. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.